it's Ms. Namard again, and I'm going to teach you the second part of making fresh pasta. So previously, I had my pasta. You can either wrap it well and leave it at room temperature for an hour, or put it in the fridge for up to 2 days. You also have your extra flour. Again, if this goes in the fridge, then this has to go in the fridge because it has raw egg with it. You have two options for rolling pasta. You can use a pasta machine, which is what I'm going to do today. And you can find that easily at like London Drugs or any homeware store. You can buy it online. If you don't, you can use a rolling pin. And if you don't have a rolling pin, then be creative. For example, I have a bottle that had tomato passata in it. I would make sure to wash that really well. You could use any old jar that would work. But we're going to use this. Why? Because it's fun. It's really important if you've got a pasta machine, it never goes in the wash. You don't wash it with water. We merely use a brush and get it really clean. Okay? If it goes in water, it's going to rust. You want to make sure it's securely attached to your counter, because if it's not, then it's going to move and you can't work it easily. And with the handle, you just want to look and see which makes it run into each other so your pasta can come out. Now what I previously did is I took half the pasta, the other half is wrapped up, because half the pasta you're going to see is going to make a fair amount of pasta. And I just kneaded it with a little flour so it's not so sticky. I've got flour on my counter and I'm using that sifted flour from yesterday. And then I also put some flour in a tray for my noodles as they come out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pasta, just flatten it a little bit, and I want to get it set on the biggest setting of my machine. And now what I'm going to do, just flatten it down even more. And I'm going to roll it. See what happens when you roll it. Then I just give it a little flour. That's sort of the version of oiling it, but we're going to use flour. Then I'm going to fold it again, sort of like an envelope, flatten it down, and run it through this section again. There we go. And so I usually put it through this section, each section about 2 times. Okay. And once I've done that, if it feels a little sticky again, a little bit of the flour, then I'm going to move it to the next one. And then again, run it through. This is something, if you've got an extra person to help you, it makes life a whole lot easier. And then as I run it through, there we go. And you can see how much bigger it's getting. And I'm going to keep doing this until I get to section 6. Now it's really important, people will be tempted to just sort of rush through, like I've done 2 and now I'm going to stop and I'm just going to go straight to 6. It's not going to work. You have to work in a small chunk of time, going up each one until you get to the thickness that you want. Okay, now here's the second part of the video. So I've rolled my pasta out, and what you will notice is when you get to about setting 4 that it starts to get really long. So I cut my dough in half, and even cutting it in half, that's how long they get. And I rolled to about setting number 7, making sure that as I went along, I dusted it with lots of flour, because flour is basically the glue, or not the glue, it's more the oil, right? It keeps everything from sticking together. So it's the opposite of glue. Now I've added on to here my pasta cutter, and there are 2 shapes that you can use. There's the big one for spaghetti and the smaller one. I find that the bigger one seems to work a little better. So I'm going to take the handle out and put it in the one for the spaghetti. Same thing. Roll it together. But this time, instead of the pasta going this way, it's going to go that way. So it's kind of nice for you with the video because you can see what's happening. Now, if you think these noodles are too long, again, you can cut them smaller. That's not a problem. It's really the size of pasta that you would like. So now I'm going to take it, roll it through here. And you can see in just a second, see, there's your noodles coming through here. Look at that. And then what I do is I separate them, because sometimes the cutter doesn't work perfectly. And I just put them in here with flour, again, to keep them from sticking together. And that's why I like the bigger ones, because the smaller ones, if you did the smaller ones, imagine how long it would take for you to do your noodles. Okay? And that's how you make pasta. Now, if you didn't want to cut noodles, you could totally take this, and here you've got lasagna sheets, or you've got ravioli. You could take and put, if I put this here, you could put a filling in and fold it over with some egg wash, and you can make ravioli. You've got tons of options for your pasta. So I'm gonna finish rolling, and then the next thing I'm gonna show you is how to cook your pasta.